Well, we didn't nuke Iran, so that's
And
good.
and yet and yet we didn't nuke Iran, but we're still sending 50,000 troops to the Gulf. And I have a feeling, call me crazy, that Donald Trump may not really have the ceasefire he think he has. Maybe.
Well, they can't even
Oh.
figure out who's a part of the ceasefire, so I don't know that he can have a ceasefire if he doesn't know if Israel is supposed to bomb Lebanon or not. So I think that's probably a key part.
And Trump thinking he's going to go into a joint venture with Iran of getting cash for the Strait. I have bad news, Donald. This is much like Trump coin. It is a scam. It is a grift. It is a pretend. It is a fake, a kayfabe.
I thought it was the Phantom Toll Booth, but updated.
It's kind of the Phantom Toll Booth. Actually, there's an argument for that.
Yeah.
Well, lots to get into tonight. We were off last week, and because life is terrible now, we won't even be catching you guys up on what you missed then, because so much has happened in the last 7 days that we will get through it all. We are going to talk about Trump's Easter post and his threats to nuke Iran, and then I guess we have to call it a taco. You know my feelings about taco, but I know everyone loves to say taco.
It's a taco.
Wait, I don't know. What were your feelings on taco? I can't remember. My brain doesn't work anymore.
I don't think that we should be making fun of him for chickening out. Like, don't do that stuff. You should actually not do that stuff. But then we'll talk about the MAGA reaction to Trump's crazy tweet storm over the weekend.
Spoiler, not good.
Not good. And all of the drama with Melania just today as we were putting together the show.
Some people may not even know about that yet, so that's exciting.
Why he's still alive? Amazon, Siri, order shovel. I bury him head down to prevent demon emerging from soil, as we do in Slovakia, my native land.
I'm sure they sleep in separate bedrooms, so she can't choke him out in the middle of the night. I'm sure.
I have a prediction that Melania and Donald Trump have not slept in the same bedroom since slightly before the birth of Baron Trump. That's my prediction. That's my call.
Was that a natural?
No, I believe it was going out and fucking porn stars that probably queered the deal, as they say.
Well, let's start with Trump's crazy Easter weekend. So, after days of escalating threats on Truth Social and on TV, including targeting Iranian infrastructure, including bridges and power plants, a war crime, if you were wondering, nuking Iran and destroying their entire civilization, Trump is now claiming victory on a ceasefire agreement. The ceasefire is essentially happening on the terms that Iran offered last week and Trump rejected, but he is claiming the art of the deal. The ceasefire agreement includes a deal to loosen sanctions on Iran and allow Iran to place a $2 million per boat toll on the Strait of Hormuz, which will be happening through cryptocurrency. Are we winning?
Congratulations, Donald Su, the Sun Tzu of a modern era, the strategic genius unparalleled in military history. Congratulations. In the words of the poet, sage, and philosopher DJ Khaled, you played yourself. He is this.
She's just herself out.
She's like, I'm out. No 62-year-old man gets to throw DJ Khaled, apparently. But I do, and I will. I demand it as my right.
Allowed.
This accomplished nothing. It accomplished 0.000. No one in Iran woke up and said, wow, this deal's terrible. Let's not do this.
Well, not nothing.
They're going to make so much money off this deal, Maya. They're
exactly.
They're going to go on Temu or Baidu or Alibaba and order an entirely new Air Force from China. They're going to make so much money on this deal. They're going to rebuild their military capacity in no time flat. This was insane from the start. The war itself was insane, but the way he's handling the ceasefire, because he was desperate to get the markets back under control. It is definitionally madness.
But does it matter if the Dow gets up to 50,000 again if Pam Bondi's not around to scream about it?
Well, the Dow is over 50,000.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, I'm punchy. I don't have
but
really
a lot of money's being made right now by
cash money, dollar bills, y'all. There is so much money being made. And look, this is the president's theory of Wu-Tang. Cash rules everything around me. If he sees the markets going sideways, he panics. Tariffs, panic, reversed a bunch of them. This war, the markets only would believe him so many times. Oh, it's won. We won. It's over. It's over. It's perfect. We won. We won the greatest military victory of all history. Blah, 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 blah. And then the next day, shit would still be going sideways. And so they would pump and dump the markets. But I guess it's, how many days is it now? Monday? Whenever. Yeah, Tuesday. But Tuesday of this week, the markets were like, no, we're not buying it. Not believing it. So he had to accept this humiliating, low T, total cucked out response to Iran. I mean, I don't know how to say get in the chair in Persian, but they told him to get in the cuck chair, wait in the corner. And nothing about this is a victory for America. The price of energy coming out of the Gulf is still high. It's actually going to be higher because now there's a tax on it that Iran is collecting.
Well, and also he says that we met our objectives. So if we've met our objectives and there's a 2-week ceasefire, so that means then we're done, right? If we supposedly met the objectives that were outlined originally. He keeps saying this, but then it's never quite clear what the actual objectives are.
We're there for nuclear regime change. And also, I want them to bring back the solid gold dancers. Because we got a significant donor from the solid gold dancers. Gold, as you know, it's a thing for me. Look, Trump never had a clear set of strategic objectives because he is incapable of mentally processing sophisticated multivariate problems like a war with Iran in the Persian Gulf. He could not think this through because he literally lacks the mental capacity of a toaster oven. He got lured into this by Pete Hegseth and a bunch of these guys around Netanyahu who set up a beautiful song and dance for Trump in the Situation Room. And he got a little like military boner, and he decided that's what he wanted to do, is to go and see the things light up the pretty colors in the middle of the night. Well, they had no plan. They had no strategy. They had no ability to articulate it to the American people, so they didn't bother. And that's why this war is at 21% approval rating right now. 21%.
Well, and he's mad at NATO when he didn't even tell them that he was going in. That's like going into a fight and then being mad that your buddies are like surprised that a fight's happening and they're supposed to jump in. Like nobody wants to join him in any of this. And so he can't be mad at anyone but himself. And the strait is still jammed up. So this idea.
Oh, he's mad. He's mad at everybody right now. He's very, very mad.
I think because he was trying to project the strong man, and he's not even able to strong man himself into a win anymore. Everybody, he says it. He says I can't remember what was at the end of one of these truths that he has here, where that the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world, is what he said. And
by hot, you mean an international laughingstock? Yeah, that would be it.
I think he just hopes that the American people aren't actually paying, or that people outside of the U.S. aren't paying attention to what's happening. But no, nobody's looking at us going, "Oh, that's the hottest country in the world right now," just because
we're so hot. People really love that. Look, if you have a humiliation kink, this is the hot country right now because we are being humiliated on the world stage by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got J.D. Vance this week literally campaigning for a Russian puppet dictator in Hungary, and who, by the way, folks, is about to get his ass whipped like a rented fucking mule in 3 days. He's going to get beat down. He's going to get beat down like he was asking for it at a biker bar. It's going to be a magnificent, magnificent defeat for the global MAGA hate machine, and I am here for it.
Which I think is good news for us because it means that there is a future where the MAGA base starts to realize, oh, maybe Donald Trump isn't America first and he isn't for us. Because if the people of Hungary have come around now and realized, oh, Orban's got to go, we have a light at the end of our tunnel, even if it's a very long tunnel.
Why you speak of Melania once again in the tunnel? I don't like. Okay, folks. Speaking of Donald Trump being off the rails, I will now perform a dramatic reading. Kate, am I in trouble?
I'll allow it. This is to kick off our segment on the MAGA reaction. Do you want to, before we do the dramatic reading, do we want to take a look at what Tucker, Megyn, and Marjorie have said?
Yes, let's do it.
So just for anyone who hasn't seen, clips have been going viral all week of these folks losing their absolute shit on Trump for his Easter tweet and his handling of Netanyahu, treating him as an equal across the table in the White House Situation Room. It is interesting to see this fracture in the movement widening, and it is really, really pissing off Trump. So let's take a look at some of what they said.
You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning?
You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians, just casually in a social media post.
So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran. Okay. If you seek a religious war, and no president should mock Islam. That's not your job. This is not a theocracy. We don't go to war with other theocracies to find out which theocracy is more effective. We are not a theocracy. And God willing, we never will be.
The American people have to open their eyes and deal with reality and deal with truth. And the truth is, look, you may have supported President Trump for 10 years like I did and like you have, but this is not the same man.
Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 380, yes, shut up. Fucking shut up about that shit.
To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it, you are mocking me and every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that.
This is wrong. It's wrong.
That is evil.
I am sick of this shit.
All right, Rick, to borrow a phrase before we get into the breakdown of that, you may give your dramatic reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, a dramatic reading of Donald Trump's most recent Truth Social post. And I'm not going to do it in Trump voice tonight. I'm going to do it in dramatic reading voice.
Thank God.
I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it's wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They're stupid people, and they know it. Their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They are nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Because honestly, first off, I can feel Kate's hatred through the screen. I can feel it.
I think it's great. I was following along at home. I think it was really good. Okay. I was really on board.
Let's just put it this way. Go read this fucking tweet. It's all over everywhere right now. And say to yourself, if Grandpa said that, we would take the fucking car keys away. If Grandpa came in the house and said that, we would go, okay, time for your pudding. Back to bed. Let nurse help you. This guy is broken. His brain is cooked. It is fried. It is fricasseed. It is chicken fried Trump. This guy is absolutely off the rails. And sadly, in a few days, with this Epstein stuff brewing up again, he's going to get bored and restless and go back and go, Pete, why can't we have a nuke in the Gulf? We won't kill anybody directly, just to show them we'll do it. Watch.
He's clearly spiraling, Rick, and this all comes at a time in the past 2 weeks that we haven't been with all of you. We've watched him spiral because the poll numbers are so below, underground, underwater, and it's hitting the people who love him the most. The farmers are having to pay so much for diesel. The farmers are having to pay so much for fertilizer, and it's only going to get worse, way worse before it gets
Yeah.
better. And he can't schmooze and sweet talk his way out of this. And so I
Nope.
think because of that, this is what happens when a narcissist gets caught. And there's just not enough runway for him to be able to recoup his standing with his base. And so because of that, I think he's just going to continue to spiral and be even more dangerous than he already has been. And the fact that Congress is not in session right now and they're not all screaming at each other at this point, because I'm starting to wish we had one of those Congresses like they have in some countries where they go to blows over things that are happening.
Okay. If you've never been in the National Assembly in Taiwan, it is better than any professional wrestling match you'll ever see in your life. Those guys get on the floor and they go hammer and freaking talks. They beat each other with chairs. They'll leap, they'll do like over the top rope shit. It is amazeballs. Highly recommend. 5 of 5. Pay for the ticket.
And I'm ready for that. And I think the American people are ready for that, because these are our tax dollars right now. And everyone's looking around going, I'm sorry. When are you going to actually do something about affordable health care or housing or energy prices or anything? And so I want to see
Good
people
luck
on
with
the
that.
I want to see people on the floor of Congress showing us that they care with a chokehold. Like, that's all I want to see.
Do not. I regret to inform you, as they say, they do not.
So why is that? Why are Democrats sort of like ceding the ground here to the, former big MAGA folks in their media universe to come out and be forceful against this when their responses have been pretty tepid and always starting with, well, like Iran is bad and we should be doing this and whatever. Why are they doing that?
Because they don't take a shit without doing a focus group. Honestly, if you don't believe in anything except what the focus group tells you, people know. I believe in things, folks. Whether you agree with them or not is up to you. But you know where I stand. You know where we stand at LP. You know where we stand at LPA. You know what we're talking about. We lay stuff down. And whether it works in a focus group or not is not the relevant point. But there's a culture inside Democratic consultocracy where they're terrified that anybody would be offended by anything they would ever do. They're terrified of being bold and terrified of doing it. Like, well, we don't have an 800-page policy book prepared for that idea, so we can't do that. Get out of here. Get to work. People want to see fight in the dog.
Well, because if not now, when? When we always say don't kick a man when he's down, but Trump is down and he needs to be kicked hard, and so that he stays there and he takes his entire cabinet with him. And so it's
100 times. Yes.
So if with the annihilation of a civilization talk, if that wasn't the thing that makes everybody across the board, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum, say, oh, no, we actually want and deserve more from our leaders than what we're seeing and what we're getting. That's, to me, a signal that, I know I said light at the end of the tunnel before, but that's a signal to me that we have a long ways to go if that's not the thing that's doing it.
This train, I'm trying to shove Ivanka in front of. Look, the idea that Trump is demented, is insane, is senile, is sick, is psychotic, is sociopathic, no one's debating that anymore. No one. No, there's no one who wakes up in the morning and says, this is a perfectly normal president. The people around him know this is all wrong, but they are so scared of their future if he says something bad about them, or most importantly, doesn't give them a pardon in advance, that they won't do anything.
Well, they're all on the take. It's like, Kate, what's the Meg Thee Stallion song where she talks about where she's she's depressed and nobody around her wants to help, it's because they're all making money off of her. Like, as long as people are making money, or like, that's his world right now. And we see that all the time with celebrities who are spiraling. We don't have Kanye West on the lightning round tonight, but we probably need to throw him on there, because there's that spiral. But when you have a powerful person like Trump and other people who just want to be in his orbit, they want to be in his orbit until it's not beneficial to them anymore. And so then, only then, will they try to take him down, which takes us back to this Truth Social post, because that is one thing that Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, that they all have in common, is that they are recognizing, okay, we're not a part of this MAGA universe anymore, because the MAGA universe is crashing out, and they know that. And so they're trying to get on the next ship. And the next ship is the ship that goes, oh, we weren't a part of any of that. We weren't a part of helping him get elected. We weren't a part of helping him get elected a second time. And so they know. And so it's kind of ironic that he calls them dumb and stupid, because they're actually pretty savvy right now, as they're trying to sort of whitewash their history and their affiliation with him. And we can't let him do it. Like, we can agree with the things that they say when they're saying some of these things, but that doesn't mean we have to welcome them back in or welcome them in with open arms at all.
A lot of these people said to America, fuck you, we want you to be in the dustbin of history. And now that their system is falling apart, I'm trying to return the favor. I'm going to throw a Gen X thing. In the 80s classic Weird Science, the two young heroes defeat these mutants, right? They beat these mutants, and as the mutants are like slowly backing away from them, one says, "Can we just keep this between ourselves? I wouldn't want to lose my teaching job." And I'll find the clip. It's funny. It's funnier to me in my head. But long story short, these people are like, "Can we just go back to normal now? Can we reset?" No. You don't get to reset after you embraced fascism. You don't get to reset after you sat around and went, "Yes, destroy a civilization. Why not? Why not? That's cool." You don't get that. You don't get to go back to civilization when you want to burn down civilization.
No.
It's like there's a diary from a guy in the Royal Navy, and this group of sailors were lost and shipwrecked, and they resorted to cannibalism. And he said, once you take that step, once you eat the long pig, you are never the same. You can never go back to not being a cannibal after that. You have been a cannibal if you have eaten human flesh. These people are like cannibals. They have eaten the flesh. They have committed the sins. They have decided that burning down our republic was fine on January 6th, and that letting Trump go rip shit crazy every day for 10 years is fine. Persecuting his enemies, fine. Rounding up people in the streets, fine. Shooting protesters, fine. They're great with all of it. And when the tide turns, they're going to go, wait, but I wasn't really a bad one. I was quietly working behind the scenes to steer the ship in the right direction. No.
I want to push you a little bit.
I went into cannibalism tonight. I'm dark.
Yes, dark. Very dark. It's very dark. Before we wrap up this topic, what's your thought of how this evolves? So these folks, Candace Owens being the poster child for this, they understand audience capture, and they're taking the temperature of the American electorate, and they're going batshit on Trump. They're going batshit on Netanyahu and everything that he's doing. And Democrats are sort of doing this focus group thing. So after a year in that media environment, or 6 months before an election, or 2 years before the next presidential election, if Democrats don't step up to the plate, what are they leaving behind?
Look, the economic stuff is going to carry the Democrats over the finish line, but it's not going to convince the country that they cared about the thing that was causing all the economic problems. It's not going to convince the country that they're not truly opposed to the corruption that's gone on. They have an opportunity to shift the public perception of what the Democratic Party is and can be in a pretty profound and fundamental way. But if they half measure this stuff, if they say, Trump's gone now, he's only got 2 years left, we're not going to go after him or his people, oh no, the family's off limit. No, if they do that, they will also send a signal to the MAGA folks to wait, take a beat, and come back in 2 years and destroy us. Because if you don't think they will, you haven't paid attention for the last decade. And honestly, no one, as we were just talking about, no one has gone over the line to a certain level and hasn't denounced him in a profound way, gets to come back. Look, I don't care about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alex Jones and Tucker, those people. They have audience capture problems of their own. And by the way, folks, what audience capture is that you start, if you're a podcast host, for instance, and audience capture is you say, well, what does the audience want? Give me exclusively what they want. I'll do more and more and more just what they want. Let me tell you, the time somebody comes to me and says, hey, Rick, we're going to decide exactly what kind of podcast you're going to do because we want to get the audience, make them happy every time. That's a betrayal of the audience. It's an insult to the audience. Mm-hmm. And it's the kind of thing I would never do. I have plenty of people on the podcast that the right disagrees with, the left disagrees with, I disagree with. That's okay. You shouldn't be captured by your audience. But a lot of these guys are trapped in a bubble where Trump was the moon and the stars for a decade. And now that bubble's popping. That bubble's breaking. It's a much more difficult equation for them at this point.
I want to talk about missed opportunities with the Democrats, because right now, if Congress is not in session, and I said this before the break, is that it is so important that they actually listen and hear from voters. This would have been a prime time to hang out at a gas station for a town hall. This would have been a prime time to listen to the people and get those interviews and get those comments on record. Go into red districts and say, hey, I'm here to listen to you, even though your representative clearly isn't delivering on any of the promises. And I want people to check this out, because what they're doing right now is starting to go back to the past and say, remember when Biden, etc. So they're not delivering, Republicans are not delivering the present. And so they're trying to somehow remind people of the past, as if people aren't living right now going, I can't afford anything. And no, you can't blame this on Biden. And so I think it's so important that anyone who wants to stay in office, but also who wants to convince the American people that they actually do care, is to get out there and talk to the people. Like, you should not be on vacation right now. Like, talking to the people. I don't care if it was like Holy Week, Easter, all of that. Talk to the people.
Right. And that's like, I mean, that's the magic of like, so Rick, you were misquoted. You said audience capture. That's like audience auditing is like doing whatever the audience wants. Audience capture is like going out and getting new people by talking about stuff that you wouldn't normally talk about.
Point taken.
So that new viewers will come in. That's why Candace Owens covered all the Blake Lively stuff. Right. So doing those sorts of things, Megyn Kelly.
I won't do either. Just for just for the benefit of the order, unless you're genuine and you're accountable to what you do on your shows, and you're not chasing a rabbit, because you will always chase a look. Candace Owens is a perfect example. She found out that a little bit of crazy sold, so she decided to do a lot of crazy. Mm-hmm. And now she's like, the moon landing is fake. Shut the fuck up. Honestly.
When her clips surface now, I always want to send them to the friends of mine from high school.
The Jews created the moon landing in the studio in Burbank.
I'm like, is this the Candace Owens that you thought was so reasonable? I'm like,
It's also seeding ground, and this is like a whole other can of worms, and we're gonna do Melania, but it's also seeding ground like on.
So is everybody else, but boom.
It's also seeding ground on any criticism of Israel and leaving it to actual anti-Semites to do.
Right.
So that way it can be called that, even if it's legitimate.
As someone who tried to take Bibi out of office in 2021 unsuccessfully, sorry to say, or he didn't make it back, but somebody else won. I will tell you, Netanyahu it richly deserves criticism, and if you can't differentiate Bibi Netanyahu from Israel, which is that's what we call in philosophy a category error. And if criticism of Netanyahu is anti-Semitism, then the world is fucking upside down. So anyway, so into that lesson.
Yeah. What we need a full hour for that one. So
I mean, it's the same thing. People can't differentiate MAGA from America in some ways. And I'm like, that's not just because I'm from the US doesn't mean I abide by those things. And so if we can
Right.
understand that there's a difference between MAGA in America and that, because if you see some of the comments coming from the international community, they're like, y'all did this. And I'm like, well, we is a
Who's this
strong.
we, motherfucker?
Yeah.
I'm like, let the record show I have been working very hard against this. Thank you.
All right, so now for the fun story of the day. Melania. She went rogue today. So she took to the podium to address the country without telling Donald and clarify her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, saying that she barely knew him and that he did not introduce her to Donald Trump. She also called for transparency in the Epstein investigation, demanding Congress to allow open testimony from victims. Unclear if she is reacting to the Daily Beast article, which is already out, or if she's preempting something way worse that's coming. But let's take a look at what she said, and then we'll interrogate that.
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance.
A lot to unpack there, guys.
Can I just say I was watching CNN and they were interviewing somebody, I can't remember what correspondent, and I believe they were in Beirut, and it was very serious interview. And then they just go, hold on, breaking, we need you to stay right here. And I'm going, oh my God, what is this breaking news? And then boom, Melania pops on the screen. And I'm like, wow, what a world where we're in the middle of war coverage and we are breaking to Melania Trump.
Our good friend Sharon Ward said, that it's the I'm Not a Crook Melania edition.
I thought it was I did not have any relations with that man. Let
me put it this way. If Melania had a lump of coal between her knees during that speech, a diamond would have dropped to the floor when she finished, because that was nervous and defensive, and there's another shoe to drop on this. You can smell it in the wind. And I had heard just before we came on the air, as you guys knew when we were in the pregame, I heard from a White House source that this has caused a quote unquote nuclear blow up, not Iran nuclear blow up, Melania nuclear blow up, which is worse.
Also, why does she feel the need to tell us about social circles and how they work? Like, oh, well, in New
I did
York
not
and
meet
Palm
Donald
Beach.
through Jeffrey Epstein. He sold him to me or whatever. I don't know what the real story is, but multiple versions of that story have circulated over the years, and they all involve Epstein knowing her modeling agent as one of his running buddies in this whole circle of weird degeneracy, and Melania knowing Epstein before she knew Trump. There's multiple different reporting on that. And Melania, if you think I'm lying or defaming you, please sue me so we can have discovery.
Well, and you brought up something before we came on that she wasn't exactly defending Trump in that statement.
Not a bit. I did not know Jeffrey. I did not go on plane. I did not go to island. And by the way, someone earlier sent me a message saying, you shouldn't make fun of her accent. She's been in this country for 25 years. I know people in this country from China who had been here for 25 years who speak absolutely fluent English with no accent whatsoever. So either she's putting it on as a defensive mechanism or she's just too lazy. Well, I'm told that the White House believes immigrants tend to be that way. So I don't know, Stephen Miller, you might want to deport her.
I just can't imagine having a conversation with her like in person.
Well, actually, we
Seems
can't
like
deport
it
her.
takes her forever to get.
She does a job that Americans won't do. Named Donald.
I missed that. What?
Oh, there's Kate coming in to lecture me. I'm in trouble again.
You do what you want. Maya, you were saying.
Cut the mic.
I don't remember. We can move on.
Probably. Should.
So to round out this subject, we sort of all lived the afternoon of who in the White House thought this was a good idea. Who did let her go out there? Like, can she just go out there on her own? And what do they think is coming up here? Because the Daily Beast article was whatever. I mean, it did say that Epstein bragged that he was close friends with her. Could it be worse than that? Do they know something that's worse? I mean, that's pretty bad. All of it's bad. It's all relative.
Well, okay, there is the email that she's referencing, and she signs it Love Melania. And sure, maybe she's one of the kind of people who likes to sign love to everything, but she did exchange email with Ghislaine like, oh, can't wait to see you. I'm going to be down there. I know you're really busy.
Let's go traffic some children. Oh, she didn't say that. Kind
of like kiss up type of email where you know you're not quite, because this was, pre her being married to Donald Trump. And so there's definitely a friendship or relationship that exists that I'm sure we'll probably eventually have more information on. But the fact that she wants to shift, and I believe the survivors put out a statement on this, it is burdensome and traumatic to have to testify on these sort of things. Like anybody who has been a survivor of sexual assault knows this. And so to ask them to have to be again in the public eye, speaking in front of Congress is a lot to ask of these women, especially when her own husband won't go in front of Congress and speak. The Clintons spoke. The Clintons did it.
I think something's in the wind here. I think there's a long game and a short game. In the short game, I think something's going to come out beyond this Epstein stuff. Somebody put that out there to the beast. I don't know who, but that's out there. In the long game, that's right, Kate. I don't want to hear your sirens. In the long game,
I'm just like, they're hoping they're not coming to get Kate.
Right? Get on the ground. Do it now. But in the long game, this time next year, the Democrats will be running the House, at least, and probably the Senate, but the House for sure. And there are going to be real investigations. And Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi, even though she thinks she's out, she ain't out. And everybody who touched this stuff is going to have to testify. There's no reason why Melania can't testify. They made Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton testify. None whatsoever. And there should be no limit on the aggression shown by the Democrats to get to the bottom of Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. None. Zero. Zip.
The timing of it is very odd, though, given that Blanche was like, oh, there's nothing to see here. And Trump is like, oh, it's a hoax.
Oh,
and
it's all empty. No more. Oh, Epstein files are gone.
Yeah.
That's about what Pam Bondi said when she said the file was on her desk. And when she handed out the binders to those moron influencers.
And what a world.
What a world.
Everybody take a deep breath.
The only thing that would have made that influencer press conference worse was if Cat Turd had been there.
I'm shocked he wasn't.
Right? I don't think he can leave his den very frequently.
He can't be far away from a litter box.
He lives in Weewahitchka, Florida. I have been to Weewahitchka, Florida, but never willingly.
It sounds like a swamp. I don't know much about it, but it sounds swampy.
Yeah. It's hellish. It's hellish. It's a place where incest is practiced with generational enthusiasm.
Speaking of generational enthusiasm and family tradition,
yes.
The segue of a lifetime. Rick, I would love for you to tee up for us and wrap up nicely this Iran news and Melania with a new spot that you wrote that
Oh,
we
yes.
got out.
This is a new spot we have from LPA, which is Lincoln Project Advocacy. That's our C4. In politics, you have to divide these things, the C527 and C4, all the alphabet soup. This is a new ad we have airing. It is airing at the White House and at the Pentagon right now, because we will be back in Iran fighting any minute. So let's play this ad.
This war, the war he promised would never happen, the war that didn't have to happen, his war, his choice, our loss. Now, thousands more troops are being sent to fight Iran. Sons and daughters, ordinary folks from ordinary families. You know who's not going? This guy, Barron Trump. Dodging a war. It's a Trump family tradition.
I was fortunate to really not have to go. This was during the Vietnam period.
I had a foot thing, and I got deferment for that.
So as you pray for America's sons and daughters, just know, no Trump will ever come home in a flag-draped coffin, but your kid might.
No,
Folks, I want to ask you, go on the Lincoln Advocacy YouTube, or check out either LP or Lincoln Advocacy's Twitter feed, and share that ad. It would mean a lot. It would also mean a lot to piss off the MAGA universe, because this is something we have to be real about. When he goes back in, and he will, it will be the sons and daughters of MAGA voters who die. It will be the sons and daughters of his voters who disproportionately die. And as much as I despise folks who stuck with Trump this long, it's not their kids' fault they don't have economic opportunity. It's not their kids' fault they went in the military. A lot of them did it for very, very noble reasons. But Barron Trump will never go. Ever. Don Jr. and Eric never served. And the recklessness of this war deserves to have Barron called out, because there are going to be a lot. Next week, the selective service is no longer voluntary. It is now mandatory and automatic. Next week, many, many millions of young American men are going to be put in selective service. I don't think we're going to a draft, honestly, but Barron Trump has no intention and will never, ever, ever face danger at the cost of his life for the war that his father has decided to start. So we're really proud of this ad. And LP Advocacy, check out LP Advocacy at the C4 there. It's at LP Advocacy on all the platforms. Do us a big favor and follow them, like them, subscribe, all the things we do to make the algorithm happy.
And just for one more bonus on there, I will share with you the billboard that is currently up in Times Square here.
Oh, yeah.
Of it. And I can also play, I think it's going to look wonky on screen because it's weird dimensions. Oh God. No, what did I do? Come back. Let's take a look at this. Nope, that's not it. For fuck's sake. I was going to try and show the...
If you watch it, folks, if you see it in Times Square, Donald Trump's eyes are shifting back and forth.
Yeah, they are. I have the file in here, but it's like not fucking working.
He's a shifty.
Wait, I got it.
Yeah, that's creepy.
It's weird doing a billboard ad, but so many people see them in Times Square. It's just ridiculous. And it really punches through with a lot of messages that get out in the media, get out in the community. Yeah, that ad is right now. We're like I said, we're doing it at the White House and at the Pentagon, because there are a lot of people at the Pentagon who do not want this war. A lot of senior officers who do not want this war. They know how bad it is. So, and that will come out to some other places as we go farther into the election. And on the Lincoln Project side, you'll see the ads running against members of Congress, some of whom will get a taste of their support for this war as the fall comes closer.
Well, and let's remember it was a war of choice. There was no imminent danger and imminent danger or threat. And so the people who did sign up to serve signed up for noble causes, not just always because they also wanted to defend our country and they didn't expect Trump to get us into a war of choice. And I just wanted to say really quick about Barron Trump for people who do not know. He was instrumental in the manosphere, in the recruitment of these different influencers that appeal to the young men that were a part of putting Trump into office. And so when some people go, oh, don't go after his son, he's too young, he's not involved, it's really important to note that he was friends with a lot of these guys, and they tapped Barron's brain for this strategy that went after these young men who are now going to be the ones to suffer the consequences. And so he too has to suffer the consequences of his actions and be called out. And they're now having to sell this war to these young men as well, which I think is a huge reason why the UFC is going to have a fight on the White House lawn, is because, we got to get the men back, because the men are a little wary now, these young men, especially with the selective service stuff. They're going to have to try to win them back, because I can't remember if it's like they're down 20 points.
60.
No, it's 60 points.
60,
Yeah.
6-0?
6-0.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah, that's as they say. Is that bad? Yeah, that's bad.
No UFC fight is going to make up for that.
No. Since their jobs have been destroyed, their prospects for getting drafted or sent to war are higher than they've been in the moon. And the economy is in the shitter. Those young men have their choice of Donald Trump in 2024 was driven by the sense of Trump is funny, he's transgressive, he's a dick, I like it, ha ha. And now they're like, I voted for what? I didn't vote for that. So yeah, the coalition has fallen apart. Hispanics, African Americans, young men dying.
And something I just found out today, I didn't realize that, I think it was in World War II, they lowered the draft age, or they raised the draft age to 44. Like, you could be drafted up to age.
Well, now they've raised it back to 42. You can join at 42.
But that they were drafting people who are older than 25.
Oh, yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So for those folks in their mid 30s who thought it was a good idea to vote for Trump because they would never have to actually fight in one of Trump's wars, oops.
Good luck. Good luck.
Does that mean it's time for
Dun, dun, dun.
the lightning round?
Lightning round.
We got to get the lightning thing. We said we were going to do that.
I know we keep saying we're going to do it, and we just don't do it. I'm going to start with fun. I know we said we weren't going to go back 2 weeks in time, but take a guess at what I'm about to show you right now.
I'm going in the Wayback Machine.
Oh my
Hello.
God.
This feels like it was 9 months ago. It was like 10 days ago.
This shit is what this I had forgotten about this, actually.
If you have been living under a rock, this is Brian Noem, Kristi Noem's cuck of a husband, who
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
The Daily Mail has now exposed, has a bimboification fetish where he likes to wear ladies' leggings and pretend to have massive breasts.
Okay,
Anything
so
to
I
say?
don't know a lot about fetishes. I'd never heard of this particular fetish before. I only knew about the foot fetish thing, and I don't know. So this one's new to me. I'm not quite sure how she didn't know that this was happening in her home.
Oh, I think she knew. I think they're just dirty weirdos. Look,
We can't kink shame, though. Like, I'm not going to kink
can't
shame.
we though? These are the same people who think that gay people should be put in camps. Honestly, they're the same people who think Drag Queen Story Hour is worse than the Holocaust.
Well,
So,
and they're just angry because they can't live the life that they want to live out in the open. And so they hate when other people can. And I think that's where it's the repression. And that's why repression is so dangerous. If you don't let someone be who they are, if you don't let them let their freak flag fly, then they turn that anger outwards to other people. So they repress, they can't be who they are. And then they're the angry, mean, defiant giant type folks. And so I feel like we see this left and right. And so I hope they get the help and healing that they need. I don't know. Is Corey in this group with them? Is it like
Corey, the husband sits in the cuck chair. Corey. Now, I will say, by the way, speaking of Melania, he just got the Corey and Kristi Noem fuck jet that Kristi and Corey were using. Melania now flies the fuck jet with the bedroom and the shower and all that shit. So
who's she visiting?
Yeah, who's her co-pilot?
Is she going to Canada?
I got nothing. But maybe it's Steve Bannon. I couldn't tell. But no, look, this guy is part of the same level of intolerance for other people's preferences that do not harm him at all. And you know what he was doing did not harm him. It's weird. It's whatever. But everybody's got a thing. Everybody likes a thing, right? Fine. But the fact is that their outward presentation to everybody is like, you're not having missionary sex with your heterosexual partner. You're a sinner. You're evil, this and that. And I'm sorry. They're working right now in this administration to overturn Obergefell, the gay marriage decision of the Supreme Court. Right now. It's one of their biggest priorities under Project 2025. So I have a real low level of tolerance for these people who have a zero tolerance for everybody else's, for the rich panoply of human sexual interests. As long as you're not hurting kids or the pets or the livestock, go wild, go do your thing. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. Do your thing. I got nothing,
When you said livestock, and then I remember Kristi Noem, and you said pets. She shot puppies. Did you see? Yeah. Did she shoot the puppy because the puppy saw too much? Like there's
maybe.
Yeah.
But I can hear that sound at the Stephen Miller household. Stop, Stephen! No.
Oh my God.
No.
Also, like at the root of this particular fetish is like such a lack of it comes from a place of lack of respect for women. When you want, like, when it is your biggest fantasy to dress up like that and like be a bimbo, that's how he sees his wife. And Kristi Noem's credentials notwithstanding, as an upstanding member of society and smart person, I won't speak to that. But these men view women as just bimbos with big tits who walk around and don't have to work. And oh my God, wouldn't my life be so much easier if I could just be my wife?
I'm going to have to look into this fetish because I don't understand it.
So I had someone who is a professional in this field explain it to me the other day. And again, it is one of these paraphilias that some people have. And some people have a complete understanding of why they're doing it and some don't. But I think this guy, I think he comes from a very tightly laced background. I don't think he gets I don't think he understands why he's doing what he's doing is what I'm saying. I don't think he has a more sophisticated, like anti-feminist oppressive mindset. I think he just got turned on by it and got locked into whatever weirdness he's locked into. I don't think he's a sophisticated.
It's always that deep. It's always that deep.
Is it though? I don't know.
Yeah, but
this guy's he's an insurance salesman from North Dakota. I'm not sure he's done a lot of feminist lit crit.
This dovetails with the SCOTUS hearing on, decision, I should say, on conversion therapy, because you're telling me he didn't, as a kid, maybe try to put on his mom's shoes or do something like that, and maybe had his dad or somebody shame him for liking something that's girly, maybe, who knows? And so, again, this all goes to like, just let people be. We'd be so much better off, and we'd be able to use our resources to actually create the life that we all want if we wouldn't spend so much money trying to repress people. Like, come on.
I think that we should do a box score of what the forbidden fetish of every member of the Trump cabinet is for a show one night.
Oh. All right, Rick, you go first.
By the end of
necrophilia for Stephen Miller.
And what is Lindsey Graham's? I know you know that one for a fact, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to hear this.
The word you're looking for is bear.
All right. That was unfortunately the fun one.
All right, moving to the next grim task.
Amazon will add a 3.5% surcharge for US and Canadian sellers starting April 17th due to elevated costs in fuel and logistics.
Thanks, Trump.
Similar to that, the Delta CEO won't commit to lowering ticket prices if jet fuel prices go down. When asked if his company would lower prices if fuel costs dropped, he instead said that lower fuel costs would, quote, certainly help us boost our margins this year and clearly into next year as well.
They don't give a shit about people at all. Like, these companies care about their bottom line. That's what they're supposed to do because they're companies, but people need to understand that when they vote for Republicans who care
I'm gonna
only
do my
about
best to
companies,
stay out
those
of an
people
airplane.
only care about their bottom line.
I'm going to do my best to stay out of a commercial plane for the immediate and indefinite future. I looked at some tickets the other day for something that's coming up. And folks, I have my own plane. It's not a jet. It's just a regular prop plane. I fly it myself. For the price of a coach ticket, I could take this trip in my own plane. And it is not inexpensive to operate a private plane. But for the price of a coach ticket, I'm like, I'm not paying $1,900 fucking dollars for a round trip coach ticket. That's insanity. It's madness. I mean,
do you charge yourself for bags, Rick?
You know what? I do not. I have a very nice travel bag that Renee got me that fits right in the baggage hatch. Close it, get in the plane, off I go.
That sounds perfect. The only
We
way
took
to
my
fly.
mom. We took my mom flying last week, which was a first for her in my plane. And
Mama Wilson.
I
and
love that.
yeah, and it was good. It was fun. We had a good time.
Wait,
So-
how many people fit in your
4.
Oh, you can fit 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 people in bags.
In my mind, it was just like the Snoopy plane where there's like the Red
Yeah,
Baron.
That's my next plane, an open cockpit biplane. Renee's like, no, you are not. When we do Rickstock, we're doing plane rides.
Ooh, I don't know if you'll get me up there. We'll see about it.
Yeah.
Well, and finally for the lightning round today, Trump has announced that his presidential library will be in Miami and it will be a hotel with a giant gold statue of him in it. I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited to visit.
I can't wait. I can't wait because you know what Miami needs is another mid-tier Bulgarian skyscraper. I have a prediction. I don't think it ever gets built. That's my
Same
prediction.
with my hope is that also his Grand Trump Arch here in DC will never get built
What an
because
obscenity that is, though, because it blocks the view of Arlington Cemetery.
Oh,
they're gonna. Sorry, I lost my place. They're gonna finance it by taking $15 million in taxpayer funds from the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Of course they are. Of course.
And they're having trouble
did
building
you
it
see the
because
little art, like the picture of him holding it?
Yes.
yeah, so
It-
ridiculous.
What is this?
reminded
An
me-
arch for ants?
Exactly. It's like, oh, the
It needs
Zoolander
to
of
be
it
at least
all.
3 times bigger.
They're having trouble building it. Actually, to tie this all in a neat bow, they're having trouble because it's in the flight path for one of the runways, one of 2 runways
Yes.
at National
Yes, it
Airport
is.
here.
That is correct.
It's like they're just making everything up as they go along. Like, truly, this entire administration, just no planning.
All of this is improv. Every bit of this is improv.
Oh my, it's like a mockumentary, only it's an actual.
Right. They don't have plans.
President.
They don't have intention other than make it to the next day. Every day is make it to the next day.
Well, make it to the
Yeah.
next day and execute as much of Project 2025 as possible.
That is, yes.
Well, that's the thing, yes, because there's all these incompetent people up front, but very competent people quietly getting those things done in the background.
It's the
while we're
mullet of
distracted by the
administrations.
chaos.
Business
Ooh.
in the front, party in the back.
Did
Yeah,
you see the mullet of administration?
Yes.
It's the reverse mullet because it's party in the front, business.
Yeah,
in the
actually,
back.
you're
Look at that.
correct, Kate. That is correct. Yeah, and by the way, if you build that, you can no longer land aircraft on either runway 15 or 19 in DC. because by the time planes get there, they are at about the height of in their descent. They're about where the height of the arch is.
I'm sorry. Can we just go back to reverse mullet of administrations? Because
Sure.
that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
It's true, though. I mean, it really is. It's true. Their evil is comical, but it's still evil, and they're still intent on doing evil shit every single day. I've never experienced a world where I woke up and thought, even when I was opposed to Barack Obama, right? I never woke up and thought, man, I bet Barack Obama is doing something absolutely fucking diabolically, insanely evil right now. With Donald Trump, I think about that like 20 times a day.
I'm serious. When I say that, the other day I woke up and usually I'm like, oh, I wonder if he died. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if we're going to die. And that level of instability, that mental, like that thought process of just being constantly on edge, it changes your nervous system. And so we have to be so careful about resetting our own nervous system so that we're not constantly on this roller coaster that they're trying to take us on. And so I've tripled down on my boxing and my meditation, despite my knee killing me. If anybody out there is an orthopedic surgeon, please feel free to drop your info in the chat. My knee hurts.
An orthopedic surgeon in
All
Europe.
the time.
A European orthopedic surgeon in the chat. Are there any European orthopedic surgeons in the chat?
Right. We need somebody who's not going to be trapped in the American medical system.
Right? And if DM me.
All right, guys, I think that's a wonderful place to leave it. If you are a European orthopedic surgeon, please do reach out to Maya. If you are not, we will see you back here next week.